Good morning. This is Megan Herbst with your conservation report for Saturday, November 28th. I hope that everyone had a wonderful and a very happy Thanksgiving. It's hard to believe that Thanksgiving has already come and gone. This week I'd like to discuss the importance of winter care for your trees. The Minnesota Department of Natural Resources recommends taking steps to help yard trees survive the winter. Jennifer Teagarden with the DNR, Forestry Outreach Specialist, says, when conditions are dry, soak the soil around your tree weekly with water until the ground freezes to prevent the tree's branch tips from drying out. Teagarden also suggests the following. Wrap the trunk of a young, thin-bark tree such as maple and honey locust with commercial tree wrap or plastic tree guards to prevent frost cracks. Trunks can heat up in the sun and then quickly freeze when temperatures drop, causing the bark to crack, and then remove that wrap or guard in the spring. You should also remove tall grass around the tree's trunk to discourage rodents from feeding on the bark. Once again, then, rake and remove fallen leaves and needles to reduce fungal diseases that can infect new growth the following year. You should also protect the roots of the newly planted trees from freezing by spreading a 2 to 4 inch layer of mulch around the tree's trunk, but keeping the mulch off the trunk once again to reduce any fungal disease. You can also wrap burlap around small coniferous trees to protect those needles from drying out when they're exposed to the sun, wind, and road salt spray. You should also try to prune your trees to remove multiple stems and weak branches that can fail during a heavy snow or ice storm. And then also an article written by Bert Swanson from the University of Minnesota and Richard Rideout, a city forester from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They discuss the importance of caring for these trees through winter. Minnesota is known for some very harsh winters, and some winters we don't really have a whole lot of snow cover on the ground, which makes these trees even more vulnerable to injury. Severe injury can happen when temperatures are low in the fall or late spring, but also when there's that no snow cover in the winter, and low temperatures are prolonged and outstretched, kind of similar to what we had last year. Some other things to protect against are sun scalds, which is characterized by these elongated, sunken, dried, or cracked areas of dead bark, usually on the south or southwest sides of the trees. Sun scald can be prevented by wrapping the trunk with a commercial tree wrap or a plastic tree guard, or really any light-colored material. Newly planted trees should be wrapped for at least 2 winters, and thin-bark trees should be wrapped for at least 5. Another common concern that we hear about often is winter injury to evergreens. Winter injury can be prevented by constructing a barrier of burlap or similar material on the south, southwest, and windward sides of evergreens. Also, keeping evergreens properly watered throughout the growing season and into fall can help reduce injury. You should never stress plants by under or overwatering. You should decrease watering slightly in September to encourage hardening off, and then water thoroughly in October until freeze up. Watering only in the late fall does not reduce injury. I know sometimes you get busy in the fall and then I think, I better give my trees a drink of water, and I'm really not doing any good for them because I only watered late in the fall and not when they really needed it, in September. Just something to keep in mind. I know it's a little late for that this year, but it's always good to keep, planning for the following year. Some of these steps you can take now to prevent, injury this winter. To reduce root injury, you should encourage the fall root growth. You should mulch your new trees and shrubs with 6 to 8 inches of wood chips or straw. And remember, you want to keep that away from the bark of the tree. And then if the fall has been dry, which this fall really hasn't been, but in the future, water heavily before the ground freezes to reduce that frost penetration. You should also check new plantings for cracks in the soil and then fill in those areas with soil. Although plant and cold hardiness and winter injury are common concerns associated with Minnesota winters, appropriate plant selection and selecting the proper site, and also taking proper cultural practices into play and preventative maintenance will significantly reduce or prevent severe injury. Even though plants respond differently to winter stresses, and each winter provides a different set of stressful conditions, as we all know, plants possess a remarkable ability to withstand extremely severe winter conditions. So Minnesota winters should not discourage you from planting traditional or new plant species. And let's all kind of hope that this winter is mild, or at least I'll be hoping it's mild. But anyways, that's about it for me. I hope you have a great weekend and a great holiday season. And if you have any questions about today's topic, please call the Stearns County Soil and Water Conservation District at 320-251-7800 extension 3. And this has been Megan Herbst with the Stearns County Soil and Water Conservation District with your conservation report. Thank you.